I guess you really can't say at this point there was no 1826 hearing because of the document that was found in the 70s. So talk about that.
Yeah.
You could say the testimony was fabricated, and that what they were really talking.
Hard to believe that they would write anything positive about Joseph Smith's gift with the stone. That Josiah Stowe believed it.
Mm-hmm.
He mentioned other evidences that he had to believe that Joseph Smith had a true gift. It just doesn't work for me. But
I agree with you with the little I know about it. But I can understand where the apologist is going to come up with because look, the apologist felt the thing in their heart that said Joseph Smith is a true prophet.
Yeah.
So now they have to deal with that reality and say, I know he's a true prophet. How do I explain away? Because here's the bottom line. It sounds really.
First of all, this doesn't make him a false prophet.
No, but let's be honest here. Here's the real issue, right? Tell me if this is wrong.
Yeah.
So Joseph Smith is looking for treasures of gold using a seer stone, and there are spirits that protect over the treasures and move them around.
Yeah.
Gold plates protected by a spirit called Moroni, and Moroni is moving the treasure around. And why do I say moving it around? When he first went there, he took it out of the hole. Am I wrong about this?
No.
And he looked down and it was gone. It was back in the hole or something like that, right?
You're right.
So it sounds exactly like the treasures. And then Richard Bushman would say, God
exactly like the treasures.
Richard Bushman would say, God was preparing him for the discovery of the gold plates. So, he does say that God was preparing. Who else would find the gold plates and believe the angel Moroni except somebody who had experience with spirits, right? Or believed in spirits.
There is a connection, but and you would the Stoddards have to deal with. Well, he used the same stone that he translated the Book of Mormon with later to earlier find treasures that slipped away and never found any treasures. How do you explain that? If it didn't work then, now why do you think it worked here? And that's
because the treasures weren't real and the Book of Mormon was real. I don't know what they would say. Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. All right. So
that's why they didn't want the stone being used. One reason. The other reason is Joseph said the spectacles were preserved specifically to translate with.
Okay.
Why would he change instrument?
Right.
It's because he didn't plan on using the spectacles even to begin with in the story at all. But that's another.
We'll get back to the spectacles because that is an interesting part of the story.
Yeah.
But the document in the 70s, that's important.
Yeah. So then, so the Mormon apologists are denying that the trial took place. We have Hugh Nibley, the great Mormon scholar, linguist at BYU, saying it would be the most damning evidence ever. But I don't believe that's true.
That didn't age well that he said that. He probably shouldn't have backed himself into a corner like that.
Yeah, he didn't need to say that.
Okay.
So Wesley Walters, my friend Wesley Walters, the Presbyterian minister, very interested in Mormon history. He decided he was going to try to find records associated with that transcription. He tried to find the transcription, but he found it was probably burned in the fire in Utah.
Yeah.
So he decided, well, there has to be other county records of this. This probably was the personal docket book. If Neely had it, and then his niece had it, and took it to Utah, it wasn't the county record, right?
Okay.
It's his personal docket book. And so he says, well, there's got to be other records in the county. And that's what he went after. And he started looking and looking and looking. And finally, because they moved records around over the hundreds or so years, he finally found that they were located in the basement of the jail. And he went there, and it just as it happens, they were in cardboard boxes. All these, they usually have them like folded up into little transcriptions and then tied together in bundles, And they had them tossed in a cardboard box up against a wall underneath a window that was leaking. And they were soaking wet. And so he found them. You have to find the right bundle, and then you have to go through the bundle. You find the bill that Albert Neely sent the county. He also found the bill that the arresting constable sent the county.
Wow.
And he laid them out and took photographs of them, and he was with another gentleman. And they were so worried that these were going to perish. What are they going to do with them? Fold them up? They weren't sure if they told anybody they were there, that they would be there when they came back, because they might get stolen or something. So they did remove them from the jail, which was not very cool. But they removed them, and I think they took them to a preservation university somewhere to preserve.
Do they still exist, those documents?
Yeah, I've seen them. I went there and I looked at them myself.
Wow.
They are water damaged on one side, which is the reason I wanted to see them in person, because the stain was so dark brown, that I couldn't read all of the writing, and so I had to go and see it in person and to make the best transcription I could.
Has the Joseph Smith papers published these documents?
Yes.
They have?
Yeah.
Wow.
They're online under like legal.
Okay, that's cool.
Legal section, and there's a New York section, and then you can go to the year 1826. They also have the records for the 1830 trial.
Wow.
Which proves that the 1826 trial took place because they were retrying him on the same charges.
So the people who published the Joseph Smith papers, which is part of the church, they're not denying this took place.
Nope.
Okay.
Only the apologists that seem to have come from another century. They're the old apologists. They're the bad apologists that really.
I don't feel like I as an outsider should make a judgment about who are the good and bad apologists. But
well, I will, because
and you come from a Mormon background. You can do that. I don't feel like that's my place.
It's embarrassing.
Wow.
It's embarrassing to everybody concerned.
Okay. Wow.
Besides this group.
If the word fundamentalist didn't mean something else in the Mormon context, I would use that. So we can't.
Yeah,
we can't because it means something else.
Fundamentalists.
What's that?
They're not fundamentalists.
Right. Not big F fundamentalists.
Yeah, they are the earlier thinking type Mormons that don't care what anything says. They're just going to proclaim this is the way it should be. Mm-hmm. I wish it to be this way, therefore it is this way. And they're not trained. They don't have any training. They haven't. They don't.
Well, this is an open invitation to the Stoddard lady to come on this podcast and give responses to all these points. I'd actually love to hear her. And maybe someone will share this with her and she can come and explain. And I'll be respectful, right? I mean, within my religious tradition, I am, in a sense, a fundamentalist. I'm also a critical scholar, right? So, like I said, I wear two hats, and I'm comfortable with that dichotomy. I believe Moses wrote the Torah, or was revealed through Moses. Let's put it that way, more precisely. Joshua also was involved. And so I want to respect people who are coming from a devout perspective, but I also want to hear what the truth is.